Hello and welcome to our webinar covering retrofitting and modernizing legacy testing equipment. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Nick Erickson, your host for this webinar. Today I'm joined by Mike Darlington, the product manager for Instron's static retrofit program. This includes all of legacy electromechanical frames in addition to our static hydraulic testing systems. We expect the presentation should take around 30 minutes, which should leave us plenty of time for questions at the end. These can be submitted at any time using the questions pane in GoToWebinar. I also want to mention that we are recording this session. All of you will receive an email afterwards with a link to the video, and it will also be available on our website, instron.com. So with that said, I will turn things over to Mike to get us started.
All right, thank you, Nick, for the introduction. I'm very excited to talk to you all today about system retrofits and how you can keep your legacy systems running like they're brand new. So please stick with us to the end and we'll do our best to answer any questions you might have. So without further ado, let's dive in. So during this presentation, we'll cover a number of topics, including an overview of what a retrofit is, standard product life cycles, what systems are most affected by these life cycle changes, and what the risks are of operating these older systems without taking action. And then we'll jump into more exciting topics like what our new retrofit package has to offer and how your operations might benefit from considering one of our upgrades. All right, so let's go. So many of you on the call with us today may be familiar with system retrofits, but for those of you that aren't, we'll give a brief overview of what a retrofit is before diving into why it's important, providing you with a little bit more granular detail. So in essence, a system retrofit is an upgrade that allows you to modernize older legacy materials testing equipment that you may have in your lab or facility. And the goal of upgrading is to breathe fresh life into a system that's been operating in the field for approximately 20 or more years by refreshing its most critical components. So for starters, the upgrade replaces control electronics that were originally designed in the early 1990s and replaces them with modern hardware. New control electronics are significantly more capable and support higher data acquisition rates on force, displacement, and strain channels. The new control electronics allow users to take full advantage of the latest efficiency and safety features. And then next up, the upgrade replaces out-of-date software with our new Bluehill Universal platform, which is a much more user-friendly software, and it's jam-packed with testing methods and features that we'll dive into a little bit more later on, but that really help to elevate your testing experience. The upgrade also essentially completely overhauls your system by replacing old drive components and electronics with decades of wear and tear. So you can consider this upgrade to be a overhaul of your system where it'll pull out all of those legacy hardware that are hard to support and they're facing obsolescence and giving you a system that is run on modern and fully supported hardware. And lastly, the use of new control electronics means that your system will now be able to run both legacy accessories and extensometers, as well as our latest equipment. So if you need to augment your system's capability with new extensometers or grips, whatever the case may be, you will now be able to do this with our new controller platform. So Instron systems are engineered and built to reliably provide decades of consistent testing. In fact, the average operational age of an electromechanical system in the field today is approximately 18 years. As such, it's pretty common that we'll talk to customers that have been running the same equipment for 30 or more years. So that bodes the question, if a system lasts this long, why bother with an upgrade? So there are some inherent risks and challenges with operating frames for this long. To state a few, over time, many of the components in electronics that were originally manufactured in that system in the early 90s have since become obsolete, especially electronics, which can make servicing and supporting a machine of this age challenging or impossible. And on top of that, technology, standards, and testing requirements have evolved, meaning that operators running these frames are missing out on the latest and greatest in testing technologies, which may actually be costing your company more than you'd think just through efficiency and safety. So to ensure our customers are getting the most out of their machines and aren't faced with any obsolescence-related surprises, we developed a product lifecycle policy that you see here on the screen. And this policy is intended to help you plan for the ultimate evolution of your Instron testing equipment and to provide you with meaningful recommendations on how to move forward into the future. So the chart you see here provides a brief outline of the 4 main phases of a system's life cycle. When a machine is first manufactured and shipped, it's considered to be in phase 1. That's the green line you see here. And this means that a product is currently fully supported and is being manufactured as we speak in our facility. So it means we've got spare parts on the shelf, and there's really no need to worry about unplanned downtime. Phase 2, when a system is in this phase, it is no longer being produced, but it is last year's model and is still fully supported. We typically support these machines for at least 10 years after manufacturing, and you can expect the system in this phase to be operating normally, and we really don't recommend taking any mitigating action since we're able to provide full support. As the system gets a little bit older, it'll enter into phase 3, and that's when parts begin to face normal obsolescence patterns. Instron will do its best to provide technical support and to supply replacement parts. However, if a part breaks, we may struggle to source a replacement, which will add a level of uncertainty for customers as a machine may be offline for an extended period if a part should fail. And this is largely because there's a search involved with finding a compatible replacement part. This is typically the point when a system has reached an age where it becomes a good candidate for a retrofit. And usually we can retrofit a system of this generation or age without issue to extend its life for a decade or more. However, if the system is continuing in the field and no action's been taken, it will eventually enter phase 4, which is typically a pretty bad spot to be in with your hardware. When a system enters phase 4, it usually has 20 or more years of experience operation on its original hardware, and you have a lot of old parts that are putting you at risk for part failure. So if a part fails, it's unlikely that we'll be able to provide meaningful support due to obsolescence. It's a very good idea if your system is in this phase to consider taking action to either restore it to phase 1, and that can be done through a retrofit if that's possible on that particular model in question at this point, or through a system trade-in. It all really depends on the system's condition. In either event, Instron strives to notify you when a machine's life cycle is about to change. That way you have a couple years or some time to prepare for that next step. So I wanted to talk about life cycle phases because some of your machines may be moving to phase 4 this year. In particular, if you've got a 4400 or a 5500 system, you've likely seen some notifications coming through about these transitioning from phase 3 to phase 4. And that's because these machines were manufactured between 1993 and 2008, and they're quickly becoming unsupportable, and you run the risk of having unplanned downtime or facing other operational risk if the concern isn't mitigated. So we really want to talk about what kind of options customers have with these systems that are moving into phase 4, and that's what the larger presentation will cover today. A good thing to be aware of if you have one of these older systems is how frequently older critical components fail and what the fallout of these features can lead to. So let's take a look at 4400 frames in particular, since these are one of the models that are moving to phase 4 this year, and many of them have been in the field for 30-ish years. So as the system enters the later stage of their life cycle, we found that the failure rate for motors is around 13%, power amplifiers and power supplies is around 12%, PCBs and boards fail at a rate of about 10%, and these are all critical components that have a notable risk to them after they've been operating for so long and are difficult to replace. So when one of these parts fails, often an entire operation is put at risk and your system will be taken offline, forcing you to deal with that unplanned downtime. You can potentially be faced with extended downtime as you try and find those replacement components to repair your system, facing a loss of productivity. If your system's down, you can't do testing. So if you're using your system for QC, this might mean you can't ship product, or if you're using it for R&D, you might not be able to get the results to move into the next stage of testing. So while that machine is down, you'd be faced with the need to keep that operation online. This might mean, for some labs that have it, using your additional capacity or frames to cover your testing requirements, or if you don't have those additional systems in your lab, you may have a sister lab with those components that can cover your needs. If not, most people will have to outsource to a local testing lab. In either event, it's costly and time-consuming to have to track, ship, and process these specimens outside of a normal process. Unfortunately, for customers running phase 4 equipment, this kind of part failure may result in permanent downtime. So a lot of these parts cannot be acquired, especially the critical electronics that have been in the field for 30 years. And if this is the case, your only recourse may be to purchase a new systems. And with today's evolving supply chain challenges, it may be several months before your operational capacity is restored as you wait for new equipment to be received. The next question is, how much does that downtime typically cost if you have to outsource your specimens? So just to give you a feel for what it looks like for a normal QC operation, someone that's using a machine for QC will typically process an average of about 105 specimens today. And we took a look at our customers across the industry to try and get an average value for how many specimens someone will typically process in an average workday. And what it looks like, if you have to do that, it's 105 specimens today. If you outsource that to a local lab and you are providing requirements for ambient testing only, that'll run you about $7,000 US per day for that quantity of specimen. And as you can imagine, that adds up pretty quickly. If your machine is down for just a week, you're looking at $35,000 to $40,000 worth of outsource cost on specimen preparation and testing. There are also other hidden costs. For starters, you may face major delays. A contract lab typically takes 5 to 7 days to start processing a batch of specimen. And these downtimes and delays can last for weeks or longer if phase 4 parts can't be found. Depending on the nature of your work, extended difficulties could feasibly threaten contracts or program funding. Additionally, trying to keep track of outsourced specimens is quite resource intensive, and depending again on the nature of your work, it could present you with some pretty substantial compliance related issues, particularly if errors are made with that batch testing. And outside of that, as you might imagine, there are other issues that come along with running outdated equipment. So for starters, older software is less intuitive to use and harder to learn, particularly for users that are newer to the industry. While decent for their time, Bluehill 2 and 3 are far less capable and user-friendly than our current universal platform that we have. Our team has spent many, many years honing the software and making it as user-friendly as possible, so it's a lot better than it used to be in the past. So as you can see, it's not uncommon to come across systems that are still running software from the early 90s, which is very difficult to provide support for. You can't patch it. You potentially face security concerns. And on top of that, you're missing the lion's share of the latest features and methods. So our new software and controllers are jam-packed with features that substantially improve both safety and efficiency, and you don't have access to these features with an older software. Additionally, more time is typically required to train new operators, particularly if there are several generations of equipment in a single workspace. The control and software interfaces are different enough to be cumbersome and challenging to learn. So that's where being able to upgrade to a latest software comes in, where you have a substantially more user-friendly and learnable platform. All right, now we've talked about all the challenges and all the issues that they could cause. So we wanted to talk about what options we have available. Luckily, we've got several options to choose from to ensure that your lab is modern, safe, and functional, and is supported moving into the future. So the first and best option is to purchase a brand new machine. Doing so allows you to access the latest and greatest in testing equipment. While it provides the most value, it's also the most expensive option, which might not be achievable for some labs depending on budget allocations. So additionally, our legacy equipment was also really built to last. So it may seem a bit overkill to replace hardware that's still in good working condition. You might have a 25-year-old system that you use every day reliably and you're not concerned with its mechanical condition. So that's where the retrofit offering comes in. So modernizing an existing system is the next best option. A retrofit greatly extends the life of that system and reduces the risk of unexpected part failure while providing access to all 34 and 6800 features, and it does so at a fraction of the price. Another option you have available is to upgrade only the software. This option does nothing to mitigate the risk of unplanned downtime and isn't a great option if said downtime would pose a threat to your operation. It does, however, give you access to our latest software platform and methods. And the final and honestly worst option that you can do and choose from is to do nothing. In this case, your machine remains at risk and you're faced with potential costly unplanned downtime as the direct result of part failure. Instron can't provide meaningful support to these customers, so the hope is that with our new product, we'll be able to discourage you from going down this pathway and help you avoid the pitfalls of running older equipment. So if you've got an older piece of equipment that's running just fine, that's where retrofit may very well be a perfect solution for you and allow you to enjoy the latest in testing technologies without breaking the bank. So let's dive a little bit into what the new retrofit offering has and how it can help protect your lab's investment. The new 6800 retrofit takes a comprehensive approach to modernization, allowing you to prevent costly, unplanned downtime and ensure ongoing future supportability. You'll have full access to the latest in testing capabilities, efficiency improvements, and safety features, and it'll simplify your operation by unifying machine control interfaces across multiple generations of systems. So we talked a lot about painful downtime, and what we did was come up with a pathway for mitigating that. So in order to mitigate the risk of painful and costly downtime, the retrofit upgrade provides you with a comprehensive replacement of components on your system that are most likely to fail. These parts include the following: a brushless AC servo motor, which is much more resilient to dust and debris. So previous models often used brushed motors, which are a little bit more susceptible to dust and debris. You get a new power amplifier, drive belt, speed sensor, absolute encoder, emergency stop, handset and operator control panel. It really depends on what model machine you have to upgrade, which control interface you receive, as well as a brand new system front cover to give it the system a little bit of a facelift and provide you with integrated controls. Replacing these items greatly reduces the risk of unplanned downtime, since all replaced at-risk components are swapped with modern and fully supported equipment that is largely shared across our current 34 and 6800 platform. This is the platform that we manufacture today in our factory in Norwood. And this means that should a part fail, we have replacements readily available, facilitating rapid service support. We can drop ship parts on a moment's notice. Another key driver behind the upgrade is that your retrofitted system will provide you with unfettered access to the latest safety and efficiency features. Following the upgrade, you'll have access to collision mitigation, which helps to protect your grips and fixtures in the event of a crash. You'll have auto positioning that allows you to quickly and easily reset a test. Operator Protect to help prevent accidental operation and the potential injuries that could be caused by said accidental operation. Safety coaching, which guides an operator step by step through operations to ensure that all safety protocols are being followed. And an optional and fully integrated smart close air kit that allows you to control gripping pressure on your 10 kilonewton or below grips, which will improve safety and help protect specimen if you're dealing with critical gripping applications. And following an upgrade, your system will feel just like a brand new system, and it'll offer an operating experience that is nearly identical. So you have all the latest software features and control interfaces. The primary difference is that you have an external control box. Another big factor is control uniformity. So following an upgrade, a system being modernized with a 6800 retrofit package will be endowed with the removable 6800 ergonomic handset and its fine adjustment capability. So you have that nice thumb wheel that allows you to finely position your system. Similarly, if you want to upgrade a 3300 system to a 3400 system, you will receive a brand new sheet metal front cover with a fully integrated 3400 operator panel. So if you have a frame being upgraded to the 6800 platform or a frame being upgraded to the 3400 platform, you'll be having a similar operating experience as you would with a brand new frame that rolled off the line. Additionally, all systems are upgraded with the latest version of Bluehill Universal that can either be run on our dashboard, or if you have special IT requirements, you may also supply a specific compatible PC of your choice, and we can install Bluehill Universal on that PC as well. And these features allow Retrofit to bring several generations of systems under the same control scheme and interface, which typically translates to 1 to 2 weeks of time on saved training. So it can take a while to train an operator, particularly if you have to go across different generations and train someone on a system manufactured in 1995, and then another one in 2010. And then if you buy a new machine, that's another requirement on training. So this helps to unify all platforms with the same control scheme. And when it comes to the design of the Retrofit box itself, we were cognizant of the fact that many labs are tight on space. It's particularly true if you have many, many customer frames and your bench is full of systems, or you're just in a smaller room. So to save on that valuable table space, we decided to make a modular controller box that can be quickly and easily moved to an auxiliary location, such as to a different table or a shelf or onto the floor, anywhere outside of that workspace to give you a little more room. With the extra cable length that comes with the box, you'll be able to move that electronics enclosure 1.5 meters or 5 feet away from that system, allowing you to isolate that enclosure. The Retrofit is also backwards compatible with most accessories. So if you've got legacy extensometers, temperature accessories like a chamber or grips, you'll still be able to use all of these legacy equipment without issue. And similarly, a system can be upgraded with a Bluehill Universal dashboard, or like we said before, a customer supplied PC, and you can add additional strain expansions if you need to expand your system's capabilities. For ergonomic reasons, the strain and load ports are also conveniently located in the front of the enclosure, making it quick and easy for you to swap out accessories. This is particularly useful if you're doing R&D and you're required to swap out your load cells and transducers or extensometers fairly frequently. So you can position that box to fit your personal needs. And one major thing that we haven't discussed yet is what the installation process looks like. So typically, the entire installation process, start to finish, and that includes all of your related training and calibration, will last approximately 1 to 2 days. So it's a relatively quick installation and upgrade for your legacy equipment. The Retrofit kit will be drop shipped directly to your factory, and an Instron field service engineer will arrive at your site to complete the installation. During the installation, our field service engineer will complete the overhaul of your system. They will calibrate and recertify it for you, and if necessary, they will provide any training needed to get your operation off the ground. And throughout the process, your machine shouldn't have to be moved, since we're going to be doing it on site. So you can just set some time aside on your calendar, and we'll send an FSC out there to help you get your system up and running. And then after the field engineer has removed all of the old components within that frame, the parts will then be sent back to the factory in the same package that they were delivered. And once they arrive back at Instron's factory in Norwood, Instron will take care of the proper dispositioning of those components for you. So to recap, a retrofit helps to mitigate downtime you might face and ensures supportability by replacing at-risk and obsolete components. It grants you full access to the latest in testing technology by being upgraded to our latest 34 or 6800 platform, again, depending on the system you'd like to upgrade. And it provides you with greater lab uniformity and reduces any training burdens that you have when dealing with multiple generations of systems. So just wanted to recap and give you a brief overview of what a 6800 package looks like and includes. So For starters, a system receiving a 6800 retrofit gets a new 6800 control electronics that are capable of providing data acquisition rates up to 5 kilohertz on force, displacement, and strain channels. Next, your system controls interface will be modernized by adding the removable 6800 handset, an integrated e-stop and operator panel that allows your operator to quickly identify the machine status, whether it's in setup or test, so you have nice, clear indications to improve safety and usability. And you also, of course, get that new and the latest Bluehill Universal Upgrade. When it comes to modernizing your hardware, the following parts are replaced. You get that nice, more robust brushless AC servo motor, power amplifier, drive belt, speed sensor, absolute encoder, e-stop, and that new system front cover with the fully integrated controls. And again, this system is compatible with new and legacy accessories. So now that we know what's in the system and what major parts are replaced, let's take a look at what systems can actually receive this upgrade. So I know there's a big table here with a lot of models, so we don't expect you to try and remember all the models that are applicable, but we also do have handouts that we can provide you with or that are in the GoToWebinar window as well that you can download. But basically, when you look at the breakdown of the systems that can receive a 6800 upgrade by capacity and age, the upgrade is suitable for all listed 4460, 5560, 5560A, 5860, and 5960 systems. Some caveats to think about here is that the system upgrade will give you access to all of these new features, and we can actually convert your 5800 dynamic testing system to a static tester with this upgrade kit. And if you've got an older 3300 system in your lab, we're pleased to announce that we've got a new similar retrofit offering to upgrade your machine. In the past, we haven't been able to upgrade this platform, but we've just released a pathway for upgrade for your 3300 systems. And this upgrade is very similar to what you just saw for 6800s. The primary difference here is that your system would be upgraded with 3400 controllers, or 3400 series control electronics, which are capable of providing a data acquisition rate up to 1 kilohertz, which is exactly the same as our latest 3400 platform. You will also receive the integrated 3400 operator panel with those jog buttons and integrated operator indicator lights, and you'll get a robust sheet metal front cover. Similarly, you'll receive a comprehensive replacement of the listed at-risk components that you see here. Just like in the 6800, you'll have the new Bluehill Universal software, and just like with the 6800 offering, the 3400 retrofit is backwards compatible with legacy systems and accessories. It's also compatible with our latest and our new extensometers and accessories. In other words, the 3400 solution is tailored to fit that 3300 platform. So here's a table that details all of the compatible models. And as you can see, we have the full line of 3300 systems covered from 2002 to 2020. Today we talked specifically about our new 34 and 6800 retrofit package on table model systems, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that we can also provide retrofits on a variety of other systems. Although a bit different, we also have a line of retrofits that can upgrade high force electromechanical systems, select static hydraulic frames, and some smaller torsion related products. So if you're interested and have any of these systems on hand, we'd be more than happy to work with you and assess what can be done and if these systems can be upgraded. And as a bit of a sneak peek, I don't know if we should be mentioning what comes next here, but in the future, by the end of this year, we are planning to release the 34 and 6800 retrofit solution just like this on our high capacity EM product lines. So if you have a floor model system that's doing testing between 100 kilonewtons and 300 kilonewtons, we will have a similar offering for you by the end of this year. All right, now that I've talked your ear off about retrofits, I'd like to open up the floor to questions. So we've got a few submissions here already, so I'll start from the top. The first question we got is, can a system that has been previously retrofit, can that be upgraded again? And the answer is yes. However, it depends on the original system. So if you have a 44 or 5500 system that has a 5900 retrofit that was done on it in the last 10 years, yes, that system is absolutely eligible for an upgrade for a retrofit. If you have an older system that is, I don't know, 40 years old, we may have to assess that to see what the possibilities are. But it is possible to retrofit a 44 or 5500 system that has been previously retrofit. That was a great question. And we got another question here, which is, we have a 4400 series system in our lab. Will the retrofit work on these machines? And the answer is absolutely. Our 34-6800 platform was specifically designed to address these systems that are moving into phase 4. So we absolutely have a solution for them. All right, and number 3, we have a 5864 that has been retrofit with 5900 electronics. Is this the latest and greatest update for the frame? And if not, what is? So the 5900 electronics replacement on table model systems has now been replaced with our 6800 platform that we showed today. So we can upgrade that 5864 system with our 6800 package. What is worth noting is that the upgrade will convert that system to a static tester. So if you are using your system for dynamic testing, you will no longer be able to action wave function. But if, like a lot of our customers are using their 5800 system for static testing only, you will be able to transition that system to a purely static system and have what is essentially a new 6800 experience. So yes, we can absolutely put a retrofit on that if you're using your system for static testing, which in more cases than not is the case. All right, so another question we have here is that we recently learned that our 5500 series system is moving to phase 4 at the end of this year. And 2 years ago, we applied a Bluehill universal upgrade to our system. So the question is, can we reuse that software or must we purchase a new package? A great question. So if you already own Bluehill Universal, you can reuse that software. You will have to get a system patch so it runs with the new controller, but you won't be starting from scratch here. So that software will transition nicely to the new platform. All right. And we got another question here. We have a 100 kilonewton and 300 kilonewton floor model going to phase 4. I don't have the model numbers on hand. Are these systems expected to get a retrofit by the end of the year? Absolutely. So that is the little peek I gave there. We're going to be providing a similar kit for those high capacity systems by the end of the year. So keep an eye out. We're going to be doing another release of a similar retrofit kit coming out. We're probably aiming for the fall timeframe, depending on how everything works out. So hopefully very shortly you'll have a similar solution for that. And we can absolutely, so we got a request here for some of this information that we talked about today, and we can share information about these systems, no problem. We have nice POD sheets that offer, it's a 2-page summary of basically everything we've talked about for our new retrofits. So you can download those right now through GoToWebinar, or if you're interested, I'm more than happy to send emails out to that later on. And if you would like, we can share this presentation as well. All right, so we've got a question here about an 1122 model, which is a much older system. So if I'm not mistaken, this machine was manufactured in the late 70s, early 80s. So this machine is probably too old to be retrofit with the new 6800 platform. And for systems like this that are, you know, half a century old, we would like to recommend that you consider trading in that system for a newer machine, just so you're not dealing with, you know, normal wear and tear on some of those older components. So for an 1120, we have other systems out there like 4200s. Some of these systems cannot be upgraded to the new platform. And this is driven by some components within it, like clutch systems, which are borderline impossible to find at this point. So we want to make sure that we're supplying upgrades to machines that we know are going to last for a long time into the future and not putting you at risk of premature failure that we can't support. All right, and we have one question here that says, I have a 5542 and a 5942 system. I did not see these models listed on the compatible models list. Does this apply to these models? And I already have Bluehill Universal on both systems. So the long answer is yes, we can retrofit these systems. Or the short answer is yes, we can retrofit these systems. So the kit that we showed today was designed specifically for dual column models, but we can provide an upgrade upon request for a single column system. It'll just go through a custom request to start with, and we'll integrate those control platforms into the machine. So it might take a little longer at first, but it can be done. And in those cases, you would be able to reuse your Bluehill Universal just like with the dual column system. And we have a question here that is the 6800 upgrade compatible with the AVE? So for those of you that aren't familiar, that is our video extensometer. So it's our contactless extensometer. And the answer is yes, our upgrade is compatible with the AVE. So that's a great example of one of the current and legacy extensometers that would still be backwards compatible with the system. So, you know, it's almost guaranteed that that AVE is going to work just fine with the system following the upgrade. That's a fantastic question. That also applies to other extensometers you may have, such as AutoX's, you know, clip-ons. If you have a chamber or a furnace, those systems are also backwards compatible. And if you have older equipment that you want to replace, or say you want access to a newer extensometer that you haven't been able to previously use, you can absolutely upgrade that as well. All right, we have a question here for the ballpark cost. And since we're going to be applying our retrofits, this is a great question. And I mentioned that it was so much cheaper to retrofit than it is to purchase a new system. Since our systems are highly configurable, the cost is, it can vary quite a bit for these systems. So one way to look at it is if you're going to retrofit a system versus purchasing a new machine, you're looking at about half the cost or less. So the cost is usually between, or the price is usually between 40 to 50% the cost of a new machine. So it is substantially less expensive. So yeah, it also depends regionally what the costing is. And what we can do is set you up with a sales rep, and they will take a look at all of your old features, the services required based on your particular model, and if anything's required to integrate legacy equipment as well. So we're more than happy to provide you with a more granular estimate. All right. Yep, another request to share the presentation. We can absolutely send that out. And a recording will be available following this as well. So if you'd like to view it again or share it with anybody, we'll make sure that that is available online for you in the future. Is Instron the only vendor who can sell the Bluehill software? As far as I'm aware, we are the only one. So it is a proprietary software that Instron has developed internally, and we have a dedicated software team. So as far as I'm aware, we are the only producer and supplier of Bluehill Universal? It's an excellent question. And the rough difference in price between a new system and a retrofit, like I said before, about 50%. So really depends on the system that you're purchasing and retrofitting. So if you're going to be doing things from 5 kilonewtons up to 300. So let's say you buy a $100,000 system, you can anticipate your retrofit to be, 40,000-ish, depending on if you decide to add additional features. So if you want to add an extensometer, you can do that. And of course, that price is variable. And a 4411, let's take a look here. I'm not super familiar with the 4411 platform. I know we have Christian Arbelez on our call with us. He's our electrical engineer and the lead designer for the electrical side of the projects. Do you mind taking a swing at this answer here?
Hi, Mike. Yes, the 4411 is not compatible with this retrofit.
All right. Thanks, Christian. All right. It looks like we've gotten through most of the questions here. I know our time was fairly limited, so if you think of anything later on, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Instron is more than happy to provide you with additional information about these retrofits or any other systems and accessories that you might like to add to a machine through a retrofit. So we're always here to help. We've got plenty of information to share and really appreciate everyone taking time out of their extremely busy schedules. I know things are, it's been a wild year for everyone. So I appreciate you being able to take the time to sit down and talk to us today and listen to our spiel about retrofits. And again, we're here to help if you have any questions.
All right, thank you, Mike. So yeah, before we wrap things up, I'm just going to mention a few quick notes. I know Mike had mentioned this a couple times, but well, we're going to send out a copy of the recording and the slide deck. Keep an eye out for an email from me with that. And then if Mike didn't by chance address some questions, I think he hit most of them. We'll just make sure to round those up and address those individuals by email. And then lastly, if you like this session, make sure to check out our website where you'll find a ton of other great webinar content like this. It's available on demand anytime. I'm going to drop a link into chat actually right now for just a direct place where you can check some of that out. Yeah, so with that said, I just want to say thanks to Mike for presenting today, and thanks to all of you for attending. Really appreciate you joining us, and we hope to see you again at the next one. Have a great day, everybody.